What's up everyone? Welcome back to my channel. I am Lovelyz and today we are going to be doing a Vanderpump Rules drama / episode recap. Now, I am playing a little bit of catch up. I did film a whole thing for the previous week and the episode, and I just was having so many technical issues and then time just got away from me and I just decided to scrap it and kind of combine everything that happened the previous week and this week into one thing because all the drama kind of builds off of it anyway, so it just makes sense. And really the episodes were like a continuation of the others, so I felt like it was probably pretty appropriate. But before we get into it, if you haven't already, please don't forget to like and subscribe and hit the bell icon so you get a notification every time I post. And please don't send anybody that we talk about any hate, negativity, nothing like that. These are just my thoughts and opinions based on what I'm seeing play out on the internet and on our TV screens. So if you have something to say about what we're talking about, shoot it down in the comments below. That's what they are there for. I don't know what this hand thing was, but we're going with it today. So I kind of have notes that I took last week, but I didn't really make any like new notes this week because there wasn't like a ton of new stuff. And I don't know, I just wanted this to be more about like a little like relaxing conversation type thing. So let's start with the drama first. The reunion was filmed. We have been hearing lots of little leaks come out here and there. We did finally get to see some of the outfits. Honestly, the only outfit that is really worth seeing is Ariana's outfit. Revenge body, here we go. So the reunion was filmed and we got little leaks like here and there. Cameras and, well, phones rather. Nobody really carries cameras around, but phones were confiscated so they can be like updating, posting things or recording things. I don't know. They were very concerned with stuff getting out, and this kind of also comes off the heels of like a gag order that they put on the Real Housewives of New Jersey to be like, stop talking about stuff before it airs. So I think that's kind of where they're at with Vanderpump Rules. This has gotten so out of control. There was even paparazzi outside of the reunion, and Andy Cohen even said we've never had paparazzi outside of the Vanderpump Rules reunion. So that was kind of interesting. Now they filmed it, I think, like they said, 5 hours total. There will be, they didn't actually say how many parts, but there was individual interviews done with Ariana, Raquel, and Tom Sandoval filmed the day before. So Andy Cohen does have one-on-ones with all three of them. And then they had two segments because they, of course, had the one with Scheana, and then they had the one with Raquel because if you do not remember, Raquel put out a temporary restraining order against Scheana, which in turn meant that they could not be within 100 feet or yards, I can't recall right now, of each other. Therefore, they had to film things separately. We are also hearing that this reunion kicked off with a bang. Within the first 5 minutes, at least two people almost got into a physical altercation, with Andy Cohen actually stepping in and stopping them. Now, Jax Taylor and his wife Brittany were on Watch What Happens Live, and he didn't say this on Watch What Happens Live. I'm sorry. He said this on like the iHeartRadio red carpet. They do awards or something. I don't know. But he said he heard that it was the two Toms that fought. I think the general consensus now, though, is that most people think it was James Kennedy and one of the Toms. They did say it was people that you didn't expect to fight, but I'm going to be honest. I totally expect James Kennedy and Tom Sandoval to fight. But I don't expect James Kennedy and Tom Schwartz to fight. I could see him fighting with either one of them. I don't normally expect Schwartz to fight because I don't really expect Schwartz to stand up for much of anything, so it would be the most unexpected person to fight. When it came to the restraining order that Raquel had against Scheana, it was dismissed because on their day in court, which was just a couple days after the reunion was filmed, Raquel just didn't show up. The funny thing is, during the reunion, Raquel actually gave a document to Andy Cohen to give to Scheana, and this document, according to Scheana's attorney, had no legal standing whatsoever. It said that basically she gave her this document that was insinuating that they were going to be like dropping this, even though it wasn't the proper documentation for what was going on with the TRO, and they couldn't really drop it anyway. Plus, Scheana's attorney said this hasn't even been filed with a court, so this isn't really a legal standing document. And I'm also over here thinking, like, if you have a legal document that you're serving to somebody, don't you use a process server, not like a television show executive producer. But obviously that whole thing was just for show because, like I said, Raquel did not show up to the court when she was supposed to, so because of that, the entire case was dismissed. Where Raquel was, instead of being at court, was she was leaving after spending the night at Tom Sandoval's house. The house that he actually owns with Ariana right now. Now, Ariana's got like the best revenge going on right now. At the time, she was actually filming a movie for Lifetime in Canada. I love Lifetime movies, so I cannot wait to watch this movie. It's actually based on a true story. But while she's gone, Sandoval decides to have his mistress, now public girlfriend, come and stay over. Like, dude, she has an apartment. Like, just go to her apartment. I mean, it's really sending a message that you would have her at your home instead of going somewhere that is more neutral for the both of you. And it's really a slap in the face to Ariana. But I know Ariana is not receiving any of that energy. You can tell she is just like done and over. Now, Tom Schwartz was actually on Watch What Happens Live just after this past week's of Vanderpump Rules. And what he was saying, like, first of all, he was like completely throwing Sandoval under the bus. No matter what he says, he did end his whole thing with give him a hug, he's really down, but the stuff he was saying was just straight up like throwing out. He said that Tom Sandoval was placating him, that he told him that basically that he and Ariana were pretty much broken up. So that's what was going on here. He said initially he found out in August that they had hooked up. He thought it was a one night stand, but they continued to hang out together. So is he stupid? Like, he thinks like, oh, they had a one night stand, but they continued to be super close. So it's like obviously all right. He said after August, he noticed that they were hanging out a lot and he kind of thought like, well, this seems a little bit like an emotional affair, but he didn't think anything physical was continuing. And then in January, Sandoval told him, look, me and Ariana are basically broken up. I've tried to break up with her several times and she like doesn't want to accept it or whatever BS he fed him, and that he was in love with Raquel. He even said that Raquel is like Tom Sandoval's heroine, meaning like he is obsessed. When he has an obsession, he is laser focused on that. Schwartz also said that Ariana destroyed, like completely annihilated them in the reunion. Raquel did get some blows, but really it was Sandoval that was just completely annihilated, and honestly well deserved. Paparazzi did catch up with Sandoval after like a band rehearsal, and this clip was hilarious to watch because in the first like maybe minute of this guy like asking him all these questions, Sandoval is struggling to get this suitcase into his car. Like, he turns it every which way. He doesn't even look like there's much in his car, so I don't know why he's struggling so much, but it was very comical. And then at one point, the paparazzi asks him if he regrets cheating on Ariana or regrets like how the whole thing went down, and he says hindsight's 2020. This camera guy, this paparazzi guy, has no idea what that means. He's like, oh, so does that mean you're like, you know, taking that lesson and, you know, moving on to the future and stuff? And he's like, no, you know what that means? It means like if you look back, you can see the mistakes that you made. I realize I'm kind of jumping all over the place, but remember, like I said, I kind of just like pulling things from memory. At the reunion, we did also get paparazzi clips of Raquel and Sandoval outside talking. This may have been one of the first times they've actually seen each other in person since this whole thing broke. But we've seen them in person several times since. Actually, right after the reunion, these two were spotted at dinner together. Apparently, it was the restaurant that Tom had taken Ariana to for their 9th anniversary just a few months previous. So he's got a pattern. Guys don't break their pattern. They're always just going to take the new girl to the same place over and over and over again. And we have seen pictures, of course, of her coming out of their home, and we have seen pictures of them since I think he was taking her to the airport. Like, they're a couple now. They are officially a couple, but honestly, they have no choice to double down into this relationship because they've completely torn so much apart. And I mean, Schwartz said, of course it's affected our business. It affects everyone around us. Like, it's not just a like cut and dry thing considering how close everybody is. People were wondering, how did this information get out in the first place? And it must have been linked from production, but Ariana actually, when she found out, she called producers, and some people have criticized her for this, saying, oh, you're trying to monetize all of this. Well, to be fair, her life is a reality TV show and her relationship with Tom is center focus of part of that. And this is a huge change in her job. So she has to tell her bosses that she's had this huge life change, especially while the show is continuing to air. Now, Schwartz did say that Sandoval initially had a plan for how he was going to really break it off with Ariana and come clean about Raquel, and he was going to wait till after the reunion. So he was going to wait until like the end of this month to break it off with her. So then they would have like a whole season, a whole like summer off where we would just kind of hear that they broke up, and then we would just sort of see like a little bit of aftermath. Scheana had, I can't remember if it was her podcast now, or if she was on Lala's podcast, or if Lala was on her podcast. I can't remember. Somebody was talking, they were talking about just how much Scheana was there for Raquel, and how, just like Ariana, Scheana was kind of like a big sister to Raquel. And when initially she split from James, she actually let Raquel stay in her home. She said like Raquel would hook up with random guys in her bed, like her bed with Brock, her and Brock's room. And she wouldn't even clean the sheets. Like, girl, if you have a guest room that you're staying at in somebody's home, like, hook up with the people in that place. And that she had to actually like call her out on that. I don't know why that information was out there, but I just found it very peculiar. Another instance of where people are like, oh, well, you know, now that I look back on some of the interactions I saw between them, there were a lot of red flags. And Lala said specifically on Jeff Lewis's podcast that they were caught under the covers in bed together, and everybody kind of was like, well, they're just friends, so they wouldn't do that to Ariana. But now, you know, once again, hindsight, everybody's like, oh yeah, that was totally a red flag there too. Just constantly hearing from cast members or, you know, employees or people that work with them, there were red flags, but they dismissed it because they just really didn't think the two of them were capable of being like that with each other behind Ariana's back. And I guess it just shows you really don't know anybody, right? Ariana did finish filming, so she is heading back to Los Angeles. Funny thing, when Raquel was caught coming out of Sandoval and Ariana's home, she had a specific kind of luggage that like people recognize the brand, and the owner of the brand was basically like, Team Ariana, like, don't want to be associated with you, and sent Ariana like a complete collection of their suitcases. So there were pictures of Ariana heading home with that luggage, and it's really nice looking luggage. I just found that hilarious that the person that made a bag was like, no. We are Team Ariana all the way here. All right, and now let's get into the review or recaps of the last two episodes, which was By Invitation Only and Forbidden Fruit. Now, these episodes focus on and start kicking off Scheana's wedding extravaganza. The first episode, By Invitation Only, starts up like right after the pool party. The four girls of Ariana, Scheana, Lala, and then Allie, James Kennedy's new girlfriend, all get together. Ariana says, you know, we're having a tea party at Lisa Vanderpump's. Scheana is very apprehensive, but what Scheana doesn't realize, it's actually like a little bridal shower to kick off the event. At Lisa Vanderpump's home, beautiful Villa Rosa. You know, it's not just women that are there, like everybody's there, except for Katie, because Katie is still not invited to the wedding, and she is still not letting up about not going to Mexico. And it's like, girl, it's so weird to me that she doesn't want to go to the wedding. She's not invited to the wedding, but she's still gonna go to where the wedding is during the wedding and just be this like weird distraction. Katie would be flipping out if this was what happened at her wedding. Like, I know she got married in the forest, but like, let's say she got married in the forest and Scheana wasn't invited, but then Scheana decided that she was gonna go camping right next to the site that they were getting married. But she's like, no, I paid for this months ago before you guys even booked your wedding. Like, it's ridiculous to me that Katie is there for all of this. Now, I'm not gonna go like as in depth because honestly, a lot of it was just like small wedding drama here and there. And James Kennedy almost got into a fight at the end of the first episode. Now, this was off camera, but this guy was super drunk and he like body checked him and it almost got physical, and Ariana got upset about this. They ended up actually yelling at each other to the point where James Kennedy's girlfriend Allie actually left the table for a period of time, and that was where the episode at that point ended. Right when they got there though, Katie and Ariana got the call from Lisa Vanderpump that they got the space for their sandwich shop, Something About Her. So when they get back from Mexico, they get to move forward and push through to get their business open. I know know that they don't actually, they're not open yet, but like it would have been so awesome if they had actually gotten open before Schwartz and Sandy's. Before they even went to Mexico, James begged Scheana and Brock to allow Allie to come to the wedding and be at the reception and everything like that, because initially when they started planning their engagement and everything, he wasn't even dating Allie, and then she was a very new relationship. But James pulls the card of, hey, remember when I actually had an engagement party last year for Raquel and you guys almost decided to make it your wedding instead? Yeah, come on, like you owe me a little bit. So they relent, they allow his girlfriend to come, and then of course they had the whole fight at dinner and she left. But at the beginning of the episode, Brock actually brought her back. Now, they were having just kind of like a welcome dinner, so it was very like chill, low-key. And when Katie came, she and Schwartz had made plans to go to dinner the first night to celebrate, I don't know, their divorce, I guess, and the selling of their marital home. And in the meantime, Lala decided that she was going to bring Christina Kelly, Katie's girl for the weekend, to this wedding dinner. I mean, Scheana was rightfully upset, but she did not say anything in that moment. But yeah, it is kind of weird to be like, she's not invited. Why did Lala bring her down here? It's just kind of weird, especially because Lala is really good friends with Scheana now. We've seen that earlier in this episode that Brock, Scheana, and Lala are very close, and Brock really considers Lala a good friend for actually calling him out and making him be accountable for his past. We also get clips of Raquel and Tom Schwartz being super cringy when they got to their rooms and taking out their matching galaxy light things and flopping on the bed. Raquel and Tom Schwartz flirted a little bit at the tea party bridal shower thing, which you could tell was getting on James Kennedy's nerves a little bit, especially because he just doesn't want to be around Raquel anymore. So the next episode, which was Forbidden Fruit, we actually start off this episode with Katie and Schwartz at their dinner, and it doesn't go well because they're not a good match for each other. And it ends with Katie crying and leaving because, once again, Schwartz doesn't stand up for her. Well, you guys are getting divorced anyway. He doesn't have to stand up for you anymore, and he never really did in the first place. Schwartz can't even stand up for himself. What makes you think he's going to be able to stand up for you? Then when she is telling Christina Kelly about this in their room, Raquel stops by and basically says to Katie, like, look, she didn't want me to tell you that you're removed from all the priority stuff, so you don't get to go to like the premiere, I don't know. You don't get to go to the special pool because that's where the wedding stuff is going to be, and there's like special clubs that we don't want you to be at because the wedding's going to be at. And basically Katie's like, well, I paid for this vacation, so I'm going to go wherever I want. Katie is such a spoiled, stubborn little brat. Like, why couldn't you just go to a different resort? Like, cancel that. They were gonna give you the money back. You can still go to Mexico, but there's plenty of other resorts. I don't even know there is a word for this, but it's escaping me right now. Like, it would be very infuriating to me if I was having this huge excursion wedding and somebody like Katie was like this little skin tag stuck on it. And then after that whole welcome dinner thing with all of that, they split off. The guys have their bachelor day where they're all wearing Speedos that has Brock's face on the crotch. And then they're like touching each other's crotches. And James Kennedy is the only one that's like, I am not participating in this, and I do not blame him. And then all the girls go on like a boat of some kind. I don't remember what they call it. But there's obviously a huge divide between Raquel and Lala. They don't get along. Lala is actually talking to Allie and, you know, kind of like warning her about James a little bit because she just got a taste the previous night of how James can really be. Meanwhile, Lala is talking to like 5 people I've never seen before. I'm going to assume that these are people that are like Scheana's actual real life friends and are not part of the show or like part of the drama. And they're just like, oh my God, this girl talks a lot. You know, I'd be curious to know what all of those people think about Sandoval and if any of them are going to be filming with Raquel next season. Because I will say, side note, like Raquel and the Toms are going to have a very difficult time next season because, you know, they're all going to come back. But specifically Sandoval and Raquel, nobody but Schwartz is going to want to film with them. I think Schwartz is going to find it's difficult to have people that want to film with him too, just because they all do feel a little betrayed as well. And he may say that he was like placated and lied to by Sandoval, but you guys went on a trip together, and you can say Raquel was smuggled in, but I mean, Sandoval is not a human trafficker. Like, he can't just smuggle people in like that. Like, she was there and you knew what was going on. There's some conversations between Lala and Scheana, and Lala saying, yes, I am here for you and I'm here for your wedding, but like Katie's my girl and I want to hang out with her. And once again, it's like Mean Girl. That's what it is. Katie gives such Mean Girl vibes. I was uninvited, so I'm just gonna stay and do it my way because like nobody can tell me what to do. Sure, Katie, nobody can tell you what to do, but it is so rude and hypocritical and inconsiderate for you because she is like taking attention away from everything that's going on. She can say like, don't worry about me all I want, but like if the roles were reversed, Katie would probably be even more outwardly furious than Scheana is acting. I feel like Scheana is being pretty calm about it, to be honest. So the episode ends there at that big party. Lala decides instead of going to this party thing, she is going to have dinner with Katie and Christina Kelly, and the restaurant they are eating at the resort is in full view of this entire party that has like fire people. They're playing with fire. I don't know if they're breathing fire. The party looks super fun, but it's just, once again, it's another example of Katie just being really weird and, you know, forceful of having to be at this place. It's a really cool setup. They have like pools that you can walk in, they have tables. And this is where we finally get the kiss between Raquel and Tom Schwartz. And it is literally so awkward. Like Schwartz, I think Katie said that Schwartz was like a creepy grandpa or a creepy uncle kiss, and that was definitely what it was. He was just like, it was very, very uncomfortable. And Schwartz did actually clarify on Watch What Happens Live. He asked Sandoval when he found out, did you guys hook up before or after I kissed her? And he was told after. We have all been told that this started after boys' night, which was a little bit ago in the time of Vanderpump Rules. I don't know. It sounds like Schwartz is really trying to skirt around because he knows a lot. He knows a lot more than he is letting on anyway, but I do think he was also like lied to and, like I said, placated. I mean, he's a jerk too. I mean, come on, like isn't like a fantastic guy or anything, so it's not surprising that he would cover for a friend. So that is my basic quick recap rundown. If anything more important happened in the episodes, I'm sorry, I forgot. Those were like the big things for me. Honestly, it was just like one big wedding blur for the most part, and so I'm assuming next week is actually going to be Scheana's wedding, and we'll get all these great clips of Katie and Christina Kelly standing on the balcony and watching from above. She should have stayed back in Los Angeles because she could have actually started like working on their sandwich shop instead of going on a pointless vacation just to be vindictive. I used to feel sad for Katie, and in some instances I still do, but like overall, she's just a mean girl. Anyway, let me know what you guys think in the comments down below. I will see you guys in my next video. Laters. Bye.